Hey, don't you take my line, you filthy pile of flesh. Anyway, guys.
It's all so pretty.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Busted Musket Productions and Amazing. So this episode is coming out a week later than it was initially planned to. It had nothing to do, huh?
It's all Ruiz.
Oh no. It has nothing to do with anyone's fault right now. Well, at least within the canon of the show. Because what happened last week is the Great Shattering happened. So everyone got separated into different aspects of themselves, and, you know, I am the soul living happily in the moon right now.
To be fair, we heard the bell ring 6 times, so we had to stay from where we were.
Yeah.
Was that a Trail of Cold Steel's reference?
No? No.
I love that game so much.
That was a reference to that was the reference to the anime we're talking about today.
Is that also a Trails of Cold Steel reference?
God damn it, Lewis. God damn it, Louis.
I don't know where the Trail Steel Cold reference to you, Lewis.
Dude, I'm too addicted to that game.
There's always a JoJo reference.
Ugh. So anyway, I am being joined by the flesh, which is Ben,
What the fuck?
living happily under the ocean, despite the fact we never see what society they have.
Lots of NCR.
Oh God. Well, you guys are practically just floating tentacles with human heads. And then living happily above ground, except for the attack by us every few weeks, or every couple of days by this point.
Every sunny day.
Huh? Every sunny day?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are being joined by Rui, who is living happily with you can't necessarily call them lesbians because they're all non-binary, but, you know, lesbian rock people.
I'll cut you if you try to stick it in me.
They refer to them as he or him.
No, it depends what dub you're listening to.
No. In the manga, they refer to themselves as he or him.
Online?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing I wanted to talk about. If you listen to most fan subs and then in the manga, the official scans will use terms like Oni-chan, but then they'll occasionally change it where every now and then you'll hear them say Oni-chan or One-chan, referring to them as either or. It's similar to that in the manga, but what happens is people don't kind of want to go through the issue of doing official level translating. So instead of just being like they them in the fan subs, they just make them all males. But it has been said by the creator, and then if you read the official scan. Not the official scan, but like the official manga releases, they are non-binary. They're all referred to as they and them.
I'm confused.
What happened, Lewis? Not Lewis, Ben?
So we're dealing with an LGBTQ.
Yeah, well...
Would it even qualify as that? I thought it would be more into like the gender relations thing.
Wait, gender allegiance?
No, gender relations, like, like self-identifying and such things. Or is that under the LGBT thing as well?
Yeah, that is actually... I could be wrong, but I do believe that is a part of the LGBT thing.
Lewis, what's your part of that group?
I used to be, but I came out more confused than when I came in.
I went in confused.
I'm not exaggerating either. There were so many more things I thought I had a hold on, and then when I came out, I'm like, damn, I've only scratched the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the screeching iceberg.
Yeah, but to make things more to make things a little bit more clear for people and you guys, I'm gonna have to dive in a little bit further up than what we're gonna be covering today. So, as we know from the official anime, is the world was hit by the world was hit by six stars, which we know were basically just meteors, constantly pummeling the Earth, and
Asteroids.
asteroids that kept hitting the Earth, and the Earth was changing and changing. By the time the sixth one happened, that is when we started seeing the what was being referred to as the split, where the human body was being split into three versions of themselves: the flesh, which are the admirabilis, the bone.
Admirabilis.
What was it again?
Admirabilis.
Okay, thank you. Admirabilis. Oh shoot, Ben's coming off really low.
Too much to remember.
And then the bones are the lustrous, or the inclusions, if you want to be more more detailed with that. And then the soul, which are the lunarians. And all of them, since the bones, soul, and the flesh don't really represent one person whole. That there's not a clone of Foss and then an admirabilis of Foss living somewhere. So it's just easier. It was just easier for the creator to be like, okay, all of them are non-binary to an extent. The only ones who do have gender pronouns are the admirabilis. But then when you look at them, you can't really tell the difference between the male and female.
Actually, if I remember correctly, the difference between the two is I think the males tend to be more ornate just because they follow the rules of nature.
Yeah.
I think that was the general rule of thumb, but it's been a while since I've read upon it, so I don't know.
Yeah, and then with the Lunarians, they do have gender pronouns, but the leader of the Lunarians has stated that they don't actually have any genitalia. If they want to make a genitalia, they can, but they really are just kind of soulless beings. They're kind of shapeless beings, I mean.
So, manifestations of human greed.
Basically. Well...
Strike me down, Zeus.
Yeah. Well, actually, they explained that the leader of the Lunarians is actually a different type of god. Well, no, he's based off a different type of god. Which makes sense when you look at kind of the Buddha-esque design of the Lunarians. He's not Buddha, but he's like another type within Buddhist lore. Anyway, guys, in case you couldn't tell already, we are not doing High Score Girl like we initially planned, and while I was editing the Love Live episode, I actually forgot to change the anime we're reviewing. Huh? Oh god, the Love Lab episode! Yeah, so, the Love Lab episode, I actually forgot to change the anime, so where it says High Score Girl, we're actually doing Land of the Lustrous, because I realized, oh crap, I've been wanting to do that for like months by this point, so let's just get this out of the way before we start doing the things I've seen recently. But, yeah, Land of the... Shoot, I actually forgot to look it up. I feel so bad. But anyway... Oh yeah, that is the official name. Which makes it incredibly hard to look for on Kiss Manga, motherfuckers.
Right? I had to actually look for it in the original translation.
Yeah. I went on Wikipedia and then tried typing it in. But even, like, Kiss Manga kind of messes up the translation too, because Hoseki is Hosseki, but you have to type in Houseki.
Yeah.
It's a very confusing manga, if you guys cannot already tell. Anyway, it is.
Even then, it's hard. I'm still not used to the design for the manga.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it.
How come? Is it because they look so plain compared to the anime?
No, because I remember somebody posting this a while back on Twitter. No, Tumblr.
What is it?
Because I remember there was a Tumblr post where they posted the character designs, and I thought, oh, this looks neat. And I didn't realize it was Land of the Lustrous.
Oh.
I thought I was looking at somebody's OCs or something, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, okay. So is that what you mean that confusing, Ben?
Yeah. I'm still getting used to it, but it's alright. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did have that issue, especially when there's something that happens later on in the manga, and I found it really difficult to kind of remember which gem was where. Like, was this... like for example, there's a point where Ghost goes with Foss to where Foss is currently at right now, and I kept seeing a gem who looked almost exactly like her, but then I realized that was another gem that had a similar hairstyle to her. So, you know, without the color scheme, it's really hard to kind of keep an eye on who's who.
Right.
Yeah. But, anyway, Land of the Lustrous is a 2012 manga adaptation created by... how did I not get that one ready of all? Haruko Ichikawa, who is a female manga artist, who...
Mangaka.
Yeah.
You couldn't pronounce it.
No, I was like, I'm just gonna say manga artist. I could say mangaka. But yeah, who started this series, and... Sadly, it is a monthly series, so the wait feels awful. And we're still getting about the typical 19 to 20 pages, which I'm like, if you're gonna come out monthly, give us more, damn it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's sometimes, like usually the last chapter of a manga will, typically she takes a break every month when a volume is about to come out, so she can create the cover and some additional little snippets.
Hey, at least that's better than Berserk, man. Berserk just goes on off hiatus on decades at a time.
Yeah. Well.
Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the sad article about Hunter that came out, where the guy flat out said, "I want to tell this story, and I have a lot of stories I need to tell with these characters, but by this point, it's kind of a Will the series end, or will my series end before Hunter? And I'm like, fuck, please don't tell us that. That's so sad. Because the dude's in really bad condition, and he refuses to have anyone help him make the manga.
Not even his own wife.
Yeah, who is the fucking creator of Sailor Moon? Ugh. Anyway. I hope you make it well, and I hope you let someone help you, give you help, because pride is okay, but if you pay attention to Land of the Lustrous, pride can do some terrible things to you.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Because I love Foss, but I don't like the fucking things that happen to her in this anime.
I don't like it either.
But it's big sad.
I know it's big sad, Ben, but I don't like it. I don't want it. So, yeah. So basically, with her, that's it. She takes a month off so she can put some details on the manga release, and then boom, she's back at it. But the chapter before that 1 month break, it will typically be longer, but maybe it'll have like 25 or 24 pages to it, which, you know, is good enough. But as soon as she goes back on the monthly schedule, it is about 19, 18, 20 at most. And the thing is, I can't even say with how simplistic some of the designs can be, I don't see why it takes us so long. But because I can't say that, because just like the anime, the manga is fucking beautiful. Like, there are moments where the manga. What?
Oh my god, why'd you have to stop saying the word? Because you just literally stopped at ass. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Oh god, no. I just said, I just said, like, the manga is freaking beautiful, and there are moments where it even there are parts in the manga that sometimes even look even better than what the anime did. And mind you, the anime is still gorgeous. To the point where it's one of the few animes that have its own Wikipedia page here. Because they wanted to talk about some of the developmental things that were happening that made them get to the anime. Which, the anime is a 2017 fall anime created by Studio Orange, their big claim to fame before that was doing the CG effects in Dimension W, and then after that, that's when they did Land of the Lustrous, and sadly they're doing Beastars, but you know,
Sadly.
yeah.
What do you mean by sadly? It was pretty good.
It is. The anime's amazing, and we're gonna talk about it after Avatar month is done and we go back to the regular schedule. But anyway, so back to the manga.
Anime, you.
Yeah, gemstone anime.
You mean Steven Universe anime?
No. I don't. It's funny. I do see similarities to it, but they are very different stories when it gets down to it. I hate that in the back of the first volume for Land of the Lustrous, they're like, "You're gonna love this if you're a Steven Universe fan," and it's like, no, they're not, because this shit actually has villains in it, villains who aren't trying to be redeemed lazily and stupidly, unlike Steven Universe. Anyway, like I was saying though, I'm not too crazy on Beastars only due to the fact that they are working on a Beastar Season 2 and they have not yet given a Season 2 to Land of the Lustrous, which is bullshit.
Okay, well, if you put it that way,
Yeah.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I love Beastars. I fucking love the manga and the anime and all that. But yeah, the thing is, I love Beastars, but I love freaking Land of the Lustrous more. What the hell? Man, today we fight.
For another season.
Oh, what happened?
It should also. Yeah, because enough time has passed. I think enough time has passed around where they can consider probably making maybe getting in the works.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that's what's going to happen after Beastars, because I know that when Land of the Lustrous ended, they only had maybe about like 2 volumes to go off on.
Hopefully it doesn't get the Attack on Titan treatment.
Oh, will they move studios?
Yeah.
Honestly, the new trailer looks pretty good.
Who has it though?
Well, I mean that
it
also.
was what was it?
Studio Dean again?
No, that's Studio Dean. That's Sandali Sense.
No, I know.
I can't stop staring at waifu.
Was it Bones?
No, it's not Bones.
Okay, because...
Damn, what was that studio? No, not
Studio.
No.
I'm just gonna name studios until we get one. Is it Studio Nut?
Kinema Citrus?
Nope, none of that.
Kodokawa?
Nope.
Trigger?
Oh, that would be funny.
Yeah.
You wanna be triggered, Lewis?
I don't know. Give me your best shot.
Yeah. Someone start discussing the anime. I'll pull it up.
Where were we even discussing? Where were we right now?
Oh, you can actually start off the series itself, because the last thing we talked about was how I'd rather have a season 2 than a season 2 of Beastars.
Okay. Well, starting off with the series and everything, you pretty much get the first episode with where you see Foss lazing around in a grass field, and she's pretty much approached by but ooh, what is it?
Mappa.
Mappa. Oh hey.
Oh, they've never done well. Who knows? Because I don't like Dora Hidora right now, but they've done a lot of really good stuff. Besides that.
They did Doro.
Yeah, they did. That's why I was gonna say, hey, they haven't done a bad anime, and then I'm like, oh wait, I don't like Dora Hidora right now.
Maybe to you it was bad, but to others that hasn't read the manga, it was alright.
Yeah.
Kutule.
So, anyway, I guess I'll just start it over then. So, yeah, Land of the Lustrous focuses on a post-apocalyptic world where 6 stars have collided within the Earth and then drifted off to become 6 new moons. These 6 new moons have basically just been laid dormant and are just kind of there for like set dressing. But in the meantime, as the calamity happened, the Earth has now created new life known as the Lustrous, which are these sentient gem people, mainly look like women, but then there are some who their appearance looks closer to a male, and then there are some that just flat out look like they have both.
Paparacha was the best one.
Yeah, Paparacha is a good example of like there's female features, but this arguably has like the most manliest body of them all.
Too much hair.
I know, dude.
Clarify.
It goes all the way up to her legs. What else?
Yeah. Can you imagine? And that's the thing too. Bort has shown that if they want, they could use their hair as weapons. So can you imagine them when they like quickly turn around and like the back of their mane just like ends up inadvertently shattering one of the other ones?
Foss.
Yeah, poor little Foss.
A new definition of hair whip.
Yeah, right. Fucking what's her name? Bort turned her hair into like a buzzsaw. Spoiler alert, she doesn't have that beautiful hair anymore.
Big sad boy, you gotta be like that.
Muhahaha. But yeah, so basically in that same moment though, we currently have 28 gems. It was stated that they had way more before that, but throughout the thousands of years that these beings have existed under the watchful and caring eye of their master Congo, or Adamant.
Congo des.
Yeah. Congo in the anime and Adamant in the manga, because Adamant is a fictional stone that is commonly used in Japanese culture, and Congo is like is an actual stone that is arguably the closest to what adamant is supposed to be. So they call him Congo.
He's adamantium.
Yeah, basically he's adamantium.
I just say adamantite.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they never say adamantite. And then in the manga, they just keep calling him Sensei. They don't even say, like, Congo Sensei or anything. Like they do in the manga. In the anime, my bad. But he is the only one who is flat out a male. Flat out referred to him as a male. And he takes the form of a giant Buddhist-like monk who is, like, the person that is, like, almost their sole protector. Like, a lot of the girls think they're protecting him, but he's flat out like, I'm just giving them something to do. The moment something happens, I need them to call me so I can handle it. But, you know, occasionally, and the reason why they are only at 28, despite the fact they've lost so many before, is because on sunny days, practically every day, depending on the weather, they get attacked by these other beings known as Huh? Huh. I thought I heard one of you guys say something. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So, being attacked by other beings called the Lunarians. which are these Buddhist type creatures, mainly women most of the time, with crossbows on these giant floating clouds with a giant, similar Buddhist statue watching over them, who make it the sole goal to capture the gems and take them back to the moon, where they will then, wear them as jewelry. Kind of a very shallow reason in the manga, in the anime, until you go further into the manga and then you find out what they're really using them for. But,
Aren't they using them for, like, weapons and stuff?
yeah, well, if I can, those aren't the actual pieces. They're fakes that they're using to mess with Congo. But those gems that they're using as weapons, they don't have inclusions like the Lustrous do. So
Yep.
yeah,
And then they explain later on exactly what the inclusion is, which it's actually pretty interesting.
yeah,
Pretty interesting foresight into like the evolution. Which, fun fact, by the way, if you ever look, whenever they slice open the Lunarians, you'll notice that they look like the lotus roots that people usually eat.
Oh my god.
wow.
I have trypophobia, what the hell?
Oh, that's not too bad.
Trust me, you do not want to see the seeds for these flowers.
Okay, never mind. They're just flat out chap. Oh wait, I forget. Chapophobia is multiple holes. Yeah, sorry. But and that is the thing is when. So the spaceships, before they take them down to Earth and they launch them off from the moon, they look like unblossomed lotus flowers. So that's a cool little detail they made.
Wait, what?
So you said they're from lotus flowers, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, and like spacecraft, they usually fold them so to conserve as much space as possible.
yeah. So when the things unfold, they look like unblossomed lotus flowers. The spaceships. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. I thought that tripped me out for a second. I thought you were talking about like spaceships in the show.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant. The little ships that the Lunarians float down on. Those are not to go too far.
True.
Yeah, not to go too far ahead, but those are flat out spacecrafts. They even refer to them as such. But yeah, they are under the impression that they are turning some gems into weapons to then like use against the Lustrous, but really that's a power play that they're using to mess with Congo. But yeah, so that's what it is. In the show, it's they use them as weapons and then they use them for jewelry. But again, when you go further into the manga, they don't even use them for that. So, but
Damn it, I want to know, but no.
yeah, just keep reading, Ben, because it sounds like you're reading them. It sounds like you're reading it now. Yeah. I won't say anything more. Referring to the manga, well, referring heavily into the most current arc into the manga, but yeah. So our main heroine in this story is Phospho for light. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I was gonna ask you, can you just do it? I'm always messing that up. Yeah. Thankfully, commonly known as Phos, by the other characters, who is one of she is one of the weakest gems they have, having the hardness level of a 3. But what makes her
3.5.
3.5. Oh, so she's even.
Don't peg her down.
Yeah, she.
And which gem had a 3? Was it Antarctite or?
Yeah. Antarcticite, and then Cinnabar had a 2. But the thing that made Antarctite unique is her gem can harden within the cold, because she was basic.
Not the only gem.
Yeah. Wait, really? What else?
No, sorry, that was a crass joke.
Oh God. Wait, no. These.
No,
the genuine interest.
Oh wait.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
Yeah, no, you were talking about nipples.
Exactly.
Because I was gonna say, wait, a penis shrivels up. Oh wait, he's not talking about a penis either.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh no, so yeah, they harden. So at most they can get like a 5 hardness, but still they're not. Which is why that is the only gem that is allowed to become like the sole watchguard for the Lunarians when the other gems are asleep. God damn it! Sorry about that, guys. Cinnabar too has a hardness level of 2, but she can generate mercury, turning herself into probably the most dangerous they have over there.
This is a chemical weapon.
Yeah. Dangerous to the fact where she even outcasted herself from everyone else, because if her mercury gets on a gem, they have to scrape off whatever covered areas that they have, which puts the gem at risk of losing memories, because when you scrape off or lose a piece of the gem, you lose the inclusions within it, thus losing the things that are containing the memories. So, at one point, Foss loses her legs, and she forgot who Jade was.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh, she was the green-haired one that was the second hardest gem besides Congo?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Really? Are you clowning?
Wait, her partner was Morganite, right?
Yeah, the one with the blue and gray hair. Yeah.
No, blue and gray hair, no. What I was thinking was a pink one.
Morganite. No, you're thinking of Ghost. No, okay. So Jade was the one with...
Benitio?
Yeah, so Jade was the one with the green hair with like the long... that had her hair like pulled down in long loops. And she was the one that was trying to wake up Congo and like karate chopped his head and her arm fell off.
Yeah, that's not her.
Yeah, that's Jade.
I don't remember.
No, her partner... I forget what her partner was. I don't know what gem that was, but that was the one that had the blue and gray hair.
Euclid. There you go.
Yeah. So no, that was her technical partner, and Foss completely forgot who she was after she lost her legs. But yeah, we are focused on Foss because unlike Cinnabar and Antarcticite, Foss is a 3. And there's nothing else to it besides...
3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Okay.
My heart.
That is true. Unless you read the most current manga, and then she's a solid nope out of 10.
God damn it.
Okay, Lewis, thank you.
You're gonna do this now.
So Daddy doesn't fucking forget.
A 3.5, but a 10 in the heart.
Yes, the literal heart, because she is the sweetest of all beings in anime. She is your typical shonen protagonist, where she wants to become like a fighter and fight alongside the gems to protect Congo, but her hardness level is too low. There's no other gimmick to her like Antarcticite and Cinnabar. So for the 300 years that she was born, they had no idea what to do with her. So they and what's cute in the manga is in the anime they just state what they wanted her to do. But then in the anime, in the anime they just state what they had her doing. But in the manga, they flat out show it like, yeah, you couldn't make a map. Your designing was terrible. You were also really bad at putting gems together. And they even stated in the anime that she put a gem's legs back on, but they were backwards. So they had to...
That would be horrifying.
Yeah, wouldn't that be?
That'd be horrifying as hell to look at.
Right.
Alright, Louis, you want me to put your legs back?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, Lewis, you can like look you can look like one of those aliens in sci-fi movies where they can bend super low because their heels are now facing forward.
No, I'm afraid Ben's gonna turn me into a trap, and then I'll literally be afraid. I'll be afraid of spending every life next to him.
No, what we'll do is we'll smash up your legs into pieces, and then we'll make them into hands, and then you'll just be like a four-armed creature crawling around like a spider.
I can live with that.
Hey, four hands, 4 times the work.
4 times the work, 4 times the fighting capability.
4 times the rough movement.
I don't like where that's going.
But if Lewis is a gem, he technically doesn't have genitalia.
That's true.
Which is
Make a hole though.
Well, you know, I would be more safe, but I'm not, because there is that one guy who died when he fucked a statue.
oh god. Ah, no.
There's a hole, there's a way.
as long as there's a hole. But anyway, there is a they don't know what to do with her, so they essentially come up with the idea of, we'll make you the chronicler of our history. We want you to make an encyclopedia, and that's it. You make your encyclopedia, you categorize everything you know, everything you learn, because that is honestly the only thing we can imagine you not screwing up. Well, guess what? She manages to screw that up anyway, because she ends up, like, 1, not really focusing at all, 2, focusing on the wrong things, and 3, getting herself into really bad situations for the sake of the encyclopedia. Like, someone tells her Cinnabar might be the best person to help you with that. She goes to look for Cinnabar, and almost immediately is almost captured by the Lunarians. And if it wasn't for Cinnabar killing them, she probably would have been taken away.
Wait, for the Lunarians, I'm not sure how far in the manga, but do they specify like what requirements has to be met for them to show up? Because even Cinnabar mentioned that every time she goes out, like in the sunset at times, they still don't show up.
It's the beauty of the gems. So the shinier the gem is, they go after them. So, for example, Cinnabar doesn't really have any real shine to her, and the Lunarians are also aware of the fact that she is kind of dangerous to have around because of the mercury. So they find it like not very cost effective to send troops down there to go capture her. But for someone like Foss, they will be more than willing to send a bunch of people after them.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah. That's why when Diamond walks out at night, they have to cover their head, because they have almost a blinding shine at night.
Yeah, they do. Even Cinnabar was this close to trying to kill her.
Yeah. Yeah, because all she saw was like a running light on the field. But yeah, so that ends up, that's what ends up happening is she goes to seek out Cinnabar. Cinnabar saves her from the Lunarians and then states that the reason she does these night shifts is, 1, she doesn't really have anything better to do, and 2, she is hoping that a Lunarian will just come down and take her, but that hasn't happened. And the night that Foss, of all things, went outside to go look for her, that is when the Lunarians showed up. Really kind of cementing the fact of how useless Cinnabar feels. Which, again, poor baby. Because that was my favorite character in the show.
Cinnabar?
Yeah.
The character that I wanted to see more of was the watermelon tourmaline.
Oh, yeah. That is a character I kept forgetting was even in the anime. Like, I know she's in the manga, but I actually forgot when she was in the anime. But I know she's there. She was one of those passing characters. But yeah, I mean, Cinnabar's my favorite, hence why Lewis bought me that really cool keychain at Crunchyroll Expo.
Oh, remember.
Okay, I had to double check who the watermelon tourmaline was because I was like, oh shoot, what's that?
Yeah, I like that one. I like the design for that one.
Yeah, I want to see more of her. I'm not sure if she shows up more often in the manga though.
Not as much as you'd think.
Well, she's not even a main character.
No, she does.
But even better.
Yeah,
Right time.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, she doesn't pop up as much. There's a lot of gems that I forget are even they were showing a lot of gems in the anime that I was like, oh, I completely forgot that you guys are in here because you barely show up in the manga too. Which the anime has also the anime also occasionally added some extra scenes just for the sake of showing more gems in there. Which is greatly appreciated because again the stuff they cut out in the manga are very, very low things, like things you don't even really care if they're gone or not. But
That's too little.
oh, what happened?
That hurts a little.
What hurts?
That she's not one of the mains.
Oh no. Yeah, Ghost and Morganite have a more ooh, thank you. Ghost and Morganite have more of an active role. Is Ghost in here? Yeah, I see Ghost. No, Ghost.
There's the watermelon Morganite.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Ghost isn't in here. I see Antarctica.
Because she's invisible.
Yeah. Well, no. So Ghost Quartz is a character who, if you follow the chronological order that the anime started and ended at, she was a character who was completely cut out of the anime. Which, again, if you follow the chronicle order of where the anime started and where it ends, there should have been an episode of Foss meeting Ghost Quartz. But you do see her in the massive lineup at the beginning of the series, hiding in the back. You even see her weapon, which is a scythe.
Wait, Goshenite?
No, Ghost Quartz. That's the...
Ghost Quartz.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a character who, if you follow the chronological order of the manga and the anime and where the anime ended, she was cut out completely.
You know what? That makes sense because I remember somebody cosplaying as her and I mistook her for Antarctica one time in AX.
Yeah, no. The main defining details of Ghost Quartz is the fact that she covers half of her face, and then she has long two strands of hair running over her shoulders.
Oh, never mind. It was Krangorn.
Oh, man, fuck Karagorn. Okay, sorry. sorry. Fuck. I'm gonna say that right now. Spoilers for the manga. Karagorn is a fucking bitch. Fuck that character.
Who?
I can't say... Karagorn is another gem that is revealed. I can't necessarily say how she is introduced because it's a massive spoiler, but she is a fucking cunt, and I hate her goddamn fucking guts.
So it's like how I feel with Rachel in Tower of God.
Oh, is Rachel the girl, the blonde one that he's following?
Yes.
Ooh, I knew it. I knew she was gonna be a witch too. Yeah, no, she is terrible. Like, I fucking hate that character so much because she is an awful fucking gem person. Okay, sorry. Wheeling it back. Blackie, can you stop running in? Huh?
Get mad.
Yeah. So anyway.
Let it flow through you.
Let it flow through you. No, I don't want to. Let me close the door. Take it over. We left off at the ending of episode 1.
We're barely there. Oh, wow.
Oh shit.
We don't have to go through it episode by episode. I'm just telling you exactly where we left off.
No, I know that, but it's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was talking about other things and then kind of talking about the things around the manga itself and even a little more ahead of the manga. But yeah, so what ends up happening is Foss offers to help Cinnabar by, offering her a job. And Cinnabar doesn't want it because She really honestly wants nothing to do with Foss. And Foss yells at her saying, like, fine, I'm gonna find a job for you that only you can do, and it will be super fun. And, wander off. And that's kind of Foss's big moving point, is trying to find something for Cinnabar to do so she doesn't feel alienated or doesn't continue to alienate herself, because really it's self-isolation and not forced isolation. Even going as far where Cinnabar is living in a cave on the outskirts of the island, away from everyone else. But
Doesn't she have a room in the?
she
Yeah,
does.
she has a room, but she doesn't go to it.
Yeah.
I swear there was an app
No, there is. They go into a room and it's just covered in mercury.
No, and that's right. But I swear the episode where Boss was trying to look for Cinnabar, I did see a red-haired gem walking by though.
Oh, that was another one. That was the one that lived next to her when. Yeah, that was another gem who lived next to her.
Oh, Red Barrel?
Yeah, well, not Red. Yeah, Red Barrel. Yeah, it also could have been Benito too.
No. Yeah, no wait. I think it was Benito. Benito.
Yeah. Yeah, because what happened is, it is implied in both the anime and the manga that she had a massive freak out in the room, splattering mercury all over the place, and Kongo had to go in there and calm her down. So when that happened, she just decided to self-isolate herself. So now you just see an empty room that's boarded up and with residue of mercury all over the place. Or the poison, because they never flat out call it mercury. But that ends up becoming like the big moving point for Foss, is her looking for things for Cinnabar to do, or trying to find a way to convince Cinnabar to help her. But the moment that happens, we are introduced to Diamond, who, is probably one of the nicest people to Foss over there. Not because everyone else looks at Foss as like a flat-out nuisance, but that is probably the closest that Foss can call a friend over there. Who herself is also having these very big self-conscious. Would conscience or confidence be a better word for what Diamond has? Would it be confidence issues?
I want to say confidence, more of conscience, I believe.
Yeah, because she's being paired. This is an interesting thing I actually forgot was in the beginning of the manga and the anime, is she's paired up with Bort. That I remember. Bort is a diamond just like her, but in Lewis, can you explain what Bort is?
So Bort is actually a variation of diamond.
Yes.
So when it comes to diamonds and everything, there's different ways that they can form. And funnily enough, Bort is one of the more is a non-gem grade quality diamond. So what that means is that Borts tend to have more industrial use rather than be used, like, say, as a wedding ring or anything like that. Whereas Dia is more of a precious gem. However, her I think it was her molecular structures what makes her more fragile. Because when it comes to judging like strengths for things and everything, there are two factors that you need to consider, which was rigidity, and then what was the other one? I think it was flexibility and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, because because there has to be a balance between two things, so in order to determine how tough a diamond is. So, well, this is the funny part. Well, Bort is not as hard as as other diamonds is. It's more rigid, which means it's able to handle shock more easily, which is what makes it better for an abrasive / heavy industry use.
Yeah, which is why when a creature invades the place way later on in the series, that's why Bort was able to take a punch, but Diamond ended up losing a leg after the same punch. Not a slightly stronger punch, but the same punch. And it kind of
Wait, you have to remind me of it.
We're gonna talk about it eventually, Lewis. Brace yourself.
That's always the one episode that'll make me sad.
But she has she's very self-conscious about herself because she's teamed up with Bort, and Bort is a highly critical person. She is always pointing out these flaws that Diamond is using, and is flat out, pointing out everything wrong. You're not standing right. Your attack, you're not strong enough to do this attack. You're not, you need to get your head out of the clouds. And Diamond is taking it as as legitimate criticism and not looking at it as constructive criticism. Because, if I can skip ahead a little bit into the anime, there's a point where Bort wants to team up with Foss, and they start to criticize the way Foss is handling themselves, and starts giving them kind of ways to be better. And where Foss took it as constructive criticism, Bort was completely shocked by that because she's typically used to Diamond getting incredibly offended by it.
And then with that, Foss even gives the sensei an idea that that most of the Diamond should at least be paired with Bort at least once, so they can get feedback on their performance.
Yeah, which kind of made things worse with Diamond, but it was a very good idea. Though funny enough, they said they should be paired up at least once, but Benito is with her for a good while in the manga.
Well, I mean, to the point where even Diamond even has the sensei to make them an official team.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was the thing going on.
It was supposed to be the original idea, but I guess Diamond took it as that type of sense where she Bort needs a better teammate rather than herself.
Yeah, because she felt completely belittled by her, and in the manga currently where I'm at, when things blow up, you could really see how all that pent-up aggression that Diamond had towards her, how that manifested into something really harmful. But again, that's something that's more on Diamond's fault for not looking at it the way Bort was looking at it. Bort loves Diamond and, looks at her the way she looks at everyone else, which is like a sister, but it really does kind of show how some people will just not understand constructive criticism when they hear it. And I've had cases where I've tried to give people constructive criticism and they just kind of looked at it that I was attacking them. But anyway, ahead of that, they end up getting attacked by a Lunarian, and Diamond fights it off. Well, she holds it off until Bort gets there and finishes it off, and then you find out that the specific attack Diamond was using, a really cool attack, was way too powerful that her own body couldn't handle it, because the whole time, and I thought there was something wrong with my headphones, when she was fighting the Lunarians, you hear this loud whining sound, and for a while I thought my headphones were messing up. Dude. What? Oh.
Bad joke is bad.
It wasn't a joke. I'm seriously telling you. I thought my headphones were messing up.
Yes, and I'm a leprechaun.
You bastard. Give me your gold. I'm the only one that's unemployed now. But anyway, anyone want to take it from here? Want to talk about something else?
I'll give it a crack.
All right. Bing.
Ding. I won't give it a crack.
Remember?
Wait, what's up?
Oh, I was going to say, remember, Lewis, give it a crack with the same gem. You don't want to literally crack any of them.
Oh, God. That's your sensei and you scream.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he just shouted spots.
Yeah. Oh my god, what was it? Was it when she almost got captured by the Lunarians in the ending of the episode, or was it when they brought her back to life?
No,
it was
the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode when I think it was Morganite and her partner was trying to go up against the Lunarians but failed.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I was talking about when. Oh no, sorry. It was when Foss was almost taken by the Lunarians because of the Admira Bellis, the Admira Bilis.
That too.
Yeah, and they find her, they bring her back, and then they just hear like Congo stomping his way, and they're like, "Everyone, spread out!" My bad. But anyway, what were you saying, Lewis?
Oh, I don't know what was I saying. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. You didn't start talking about anything. We were still making jokes about cracking.
Oh, okay, good. I thought I'd already started on something.
Yeah.
Bad.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. But going on, like, a lot of the themes that happened around here, especially around Foss, is like it's pretty much a lot of trial and errors that pretty much start forming her as well, because like they pretty much say she is the youngest. She's the youngest gem out of all of them, right?
Yeah, 300 years. Benito is the second oldest. She's the second youngest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was there another gem that was born alongside, like a few or more alongside her?
Oh shoot.
And I know it was it Zircon or?
I think it was Zircon, and she was born around the same time. No. I think.
Geologically speaking, the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was Zircon. It was the youngest after Foss.
Yeah, no, because I think Yellow Diamond was also born on the same year as like another person. Or was it Diamond was born the same year?
Diamond was the oldest though.
Yeah, okay. Because I think it was Diamond Diamond and Cinnabar that they were born on the same year.
Oh yeah, can we also talk about how they were how the gems were born?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Dude, that was harrowing too, man. Just seeing the completed ones.
Yeah.
That was sad. That could have been a real. It's like that's the. I don't know, but to me, it felt more like an abortion, sort of.
Oh, yo, oof. Oh boy.
It did look like it, honestly.
You know, I never thought of it like that, but when you say it, it kind of does feel like it.
Well, maybe not an abortion, but like a stillborn.
A stillborn, yeah. Ooh, yeah, even worse.
Yeah.
Because, like,
worse.
Because.
Even worse.
Because what was it? I think it was.
They explained that like like even then it's a rare chance that a fully formed man is fully born anyways, because of how the inclusion works.
Yeah, like when Foss and Antarcticite go to that birthing place,
the cove.
Yeah, they see one crawl out of the rocks, but it was incredibly incompleted and almost a little deformed, where the side of the forearms were like engraved along to their thighs, which that it was like one of the closest examples of one being completed, but it was still not enough inclusions. And
pretty much to bring it to life. And then there was the one with the torso and the hanging arm.
Yeah. Oh my god, that one was. Oh boy. Yeah, there are some that are just like pieces of like. There are some that are just like pieces of body parts too, which is incredibly unnerving. And then and then apparently some can even be gold. Well, again, there's a lot of geographical things going on to why it's nearly impossible for an inclusion to be like solid gold or solid platinum, but they're still within the same mountain.
Oh yeah, and this is actually one of the things where like it's not explained in the manga, but I see a lot of common things about a lot of commonality when it comes to like all the gems that they're made of. But I get the feeling that one of the reasons why they don't take up metals instead of minerals is because a lot of the minerals that you see here, when it comes to all the gems, they all have some organic compounds. Like for example, phosphorylite has an H2O, which is an organic compound. Followed by, let's see, diamond. That's a carbon-based one. So that's also an organic compound. Alexandrite. I forgot, but I think there's some. I forgot the chemical makeup of that one. But yeah, a lot of the gems that they have in common is that they have a lot of organic compounds in them, which is what I imagine allows the inclusion to live in them.
Yeah. Which, again, wow, this lady really did know his shit when she was putting together this story.
This is just a theory I'm putting together, though, because I don't think they explained it in the manga either.
Oh, no. As far as we're concerned, the inclusions are magical living creatures.
like the what was the midichlorian?
Oh, God, no!
They're midichlorian.
When the inclusion count is super high, that's when the gems can start using force powers. Well, actually, you know what? I'll talk about this when we get into the Antarcticite arc. One of my favorite episodes in here.
That was the most sad arc for me.
It's funny because it was sad, but it was the arc that made me realize that the show is a fucking masterpiece. Because the episode where they worked together and the episode that would later, have the tragic elements in it, those are like the most beautifully well handled like pieces of anime that I have ever seen in an adaptation. Like like I was reading that part of the manga when we were on our way back from Crunchyroll Expo, and I'm like, yeah, this is a really powerful scene. And then when you see it animated, it flat out everything is working for it. The lighting, the animation, the direction, the music, it is masterfully handled. But yeah, it's incredibly sad in the process too.
I still don't like the one. I still don't like the one with the big beast. That one made me cry.
Oh, with Shiro?
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrifying. But when it splits in multiple pieces, it's just adorable.
I know.
Look like thing.
Why do bad things always have to happen to the dogs?
Yeah, they're selling they sell like 2 variants of the dog, and I'm like, I want them, but they're so expensive because they're technically out of print now. But I want them. I know.
Really? Hold on.
Yeah, you can look them up online. They have a tiny one, and then they have like the slightly bigger ones. But they are flat out variations. Like the bigger one looks different to the tiny one. But
You're right.
yeah, they're so freaking
The pricing though.
right. Because they're technically
They're going on eBay for $200.
yeah, because they're technically out of print. It really sucks. The little floofs. Similar to Diamond, I just want to floof them. But what ends up happening is, in the process, another Lunarian shows up while Diamond and Bort are kind of hashing it out with Foss. And this Lunarian only had one Lunarian piloting it, and all it did was drop a giant snail shell on the school. But within that snail shell was an actual giant snail creature that would eat and melt minerals. So while the other gems are trying to fight it, but realizing that it's melting through all the materials, including the swords, Foss gets eaten by it, which in the process Foss subconsciously gives them an opening to attack it. They kill it, thus turning this giant slug into a tiny little cute little gross looking slug creature that
will definitely not betray you later on.
Oh no, totally won't. And even at this point, we're under the impression that it's actually Foss. That Foss somehow turned into this little slug, and they wanted to figure out how to fix it. But it wasn't until some shenanigans that she finally asked Cinnabar for help, and Cinnabar's like, the slug isn't Foss. If anything, Foss is in the snail shell because snails eat minerals to then strengthen their shells. So, the snails in the red rock area of the mountain, their shells are red because of the minerals. So, if you really want to look for Foss, chances are she's probably in the shell, which, again, the minute, like even while they're chasing around the little slug and stuff, you can flat out see, oh look, there's Foss in the snail shell, just engraved in there. Huh? Ben?
What?
What were you saying?
I didn't say anything.
Oh shit, okay. Yeah, I was right.
Background noise.
Yeah, so anyway, they end up breaking the shell down and bringing Foss back. And Foss is fine, except now she is the only one that can hear the snail talk. And that is when we find out that the snail's name is Ventruvius or Ventrusis. And she is a queen of the queen of the ocean, under the race of what I mentioned before, the Admirabilis, which are believed to be the human flesh turned into sea life. And her family, almost entirely her whole people, are enslaved on the moon and are fed this specific nectar that the Lunarians made to make them go crazy and eat all the gems they see.
So that's what happened when the Lunarians dropped the snail on their home, right?
Yeah, she was just a rabid animal by that point. She states that it was the salt water in the pond that kind of calmed her down and shriveled her down to a little size that you see. Guys, help me out here. There's so much dead air.
Cricket.
Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna take this then.
But yeah, and continuing off of where Danny left off as well, pretty much one of the things that you're gonna be seeing along is kind of like how all three races kind of play in tandem with each other as well. When it comes to hunting of one each other's races, or even later on in the manga, you get to see how much more they intertwine with each other as well. Right, Daddy?
Yes, intertwine.
So rude.
So rude. You took my fucking line.
You got so mad there. But yeah, so Foss, the snail tells Foss, hey, one of you guys are actually down living with us. And they are arguably maybe the oldest of all of you. So if you want, I can take you back to where I live, and then you could go meet them. Yeah, that totally doesn't sound suspicious at all, does it?
I actually took that serious.
I did too. Prepare yourself, because I'm fucking older than the government. Ay. But
Step up, government.
yeah, I did. I was like you. I did take that seriously. So when they go down into the ocean, they stop at a specific area, and that is when the Lunarians show up, shoot down Foss, are collecting her, and you notice that they have what looks like a snail that was even bigger than Ventress. Man, I need to remember what her name was. I'll just call her Venti. But it was even bigger than Venti. And she says, the deal was, I bring you Foss, and then you guys... Huh? Ventricosis, thank you.
It sounds like a disease.
Doesn't it?
Right.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I bring you Foss, and then you guys give me back my brother. And the Lunarians wanted more. And that is when, she says, I can't do it anymore because they're already suspicious of me. If I go back without Foss, no one's going to believe me. So they end up taking out freaking fire pokers and poking Ventricus over and over again until they accidentally loosen the bonds that were holding her brother. They fall into the ocean, and then suddenly these massive tentacles just like come out and start killing all of them. And that is when you find out, that is when you see the true form of the brother, who again looks, and in both the dub and the sub are being voiced by a female, so it makes it very, very difficult to imagine that this is a male.
Even look like a male.
Yeah, doesn't even look like a male. And they, they end up like saying, hey, now that me and you are together, we can now bargain with them. So let's just send back Foss, and then they'd have to bring us back our family. And then we can work together to get the other gems. And Ventricus, who was starting to feel bad for Foss, is like, she says, Foss, are you okay with that? I can imagine you're not. And Foss is like, no, I am. By this point, I don't really have any real help. So if this is my way of helping you guys, I don't care. I've hung out with you long enough that I look at you as a friend anyway, so if you want to send me to the Lunarians, go ahead. And that ended up touching the both of them, that they're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go back into the ocean, hide, and then we'll send her back to our people. But since Foss lost her legs in the process, they ended up cutting off a part of the shell, which was agate, right, Lewis?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a natural mineral.
Yeah, so they end up sending her back with agate, and and after everyone was going on this massive hunt for Foss, they end up they end up finding her washed up in Cinnabar's cave. And it was funny because Cinnabar just kind of dropped her off in the doctor's office and didn't really say anything. So like, you just have a Rutail, who is the doctor of all of them, just wandering around saying, oh, where could she have gone off to? And then Foss just answers her question with like half of her face ripped off and her legs missing, and it scares the hell out of Rutail. So they end up fixing her, and now that she's about 30% agate and like, 70% Foss. So what ends up happening is since her body is so light and frail and her legs are stronger, she now has like incredibly crazy fast super speed.
That she has yet to have control of.
Yeah, like we're talking about, I want to take 2 steps, and then she ends up like running miles behind someone. But it took what's her name, Yellow Diamond, to find and catch her, and that is when Congo finally decides, you know what? Maybe due to the fact that the agate, that the inclusions are now kind of with the agate, it might have strengthened her body and released like some hidden potential. No, just her legs, she's just as weak. Her legs are just stronger is all. But he agrees to let her shadow Amethyst in the meantime, finally giving Foss what she wanted. But, after Amethyst, which in this case it's 2 twins who are horrifically voiced in the dub, thank you, Sentai. Yeah.
It's not fine to me.
You heard the dub for them?
Yeah.
I was kind of my problem with them is I was kind of used to the cutie voice they had, and then they were being voiced by an obvious like deadpan grown woman. That was my problem with them. I wanted them to sound a little bit more moe like they were in the manga.
Fun fact: amethysts are one of many minerals that twinning is common.
See, I was wondering if that was a thing because
So with minerals, twinning is pretty much it's just something. It's just you know the picture I sent of phospholite where you see it look like a heart.
Yeah.
That's an example of twinning where they pretty much start to split down the middle and they form like an almost exact image of themselves.
Yeah. Until you get to the manga and then something. Anyway, sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah. Anyway, Yeah, and oh, Doctor. Oh, okay.
Don't watch this right now.
Okay, I figured. So they end up having I don't know if I'm gonna do anything after this, but anyway, I don't know what they end up. Sorry. So they come off and they're kind of like not your typical moe twins in anime. They're very eccentric, but one of the things that work for them is since they are a perfect copy of each other and they work in perfect tandem, they do count as a same person, which is why they paired up Foss with her, because technically they are still in a group of doubles, but Foss still has added backup in case something happens. And while Lunarian shows up and Amethyst kills it, they end up accidentally realizing that it was one of those variant Lunarians that have a gem connected to them. And the gem in this case kind of look like these two pincer claws with teeth, and they end up smashing Amethyst into pieces with and at this moment Foss is just frozen on the ground freaking out, realizing that she's helpless in this case, and the other gems come up and save her with Bort coming down on her and like scolding her for basically saying, what good are you, what is the meaning of this, blah blah blah. And that kind of sets down this whole catalyst where winter is coming in. Since the gem's food source and energy come from the sun, when winter comes around, they find it easier to just all hibernate for the winter since there are only 10 sunny days there. And when those 10 sunny days show up, yeah, the Lunarians show up, but they have Congo and another gem who was sleeping the whole time, and Arcticite watching out for them. Who is basically ice, right, Lewis?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like, is Antarcticite something you can wear or no?
No, pretty. Let me do a little bit more research because I kind of forgot what the reason was about it.
Okay.
I mean, the whole time she was in a liquid state until winter is when she became more solid.
Yeah. Yeah, so somewhat like ice. But what makes her unique, since she has a hardness level of 3, which is 0.5 lower than Foss, they, as we mentioned earlier, they get stronger the colder it gets, so they are probably a 5 by the time of the coldest day, anyway.
How funny.
What?
The Japanese first discovered this mineral.
Ooh. No wonder she played such a big role in the series. Clap, 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 clap.
Wait, Danny.
What?
Did Foss even, like, in the manga, did Foss even meet, like, the Antarcticite pieces, or no?
What do you mean, did they meet?
Like, does she find, like a Lunarian with the Antarcticite pieces?
No, so there's this whole thing, they find out that when the Lunarians take back a gem that has a hardness level of 3 and below, the gems aren't heavy enough for the moon atmosphere, so as soon as they take the gems back, they float up into the sky, and it is incredibly difficult to get them back.
Oof.
Yeah. So there's...
Oh, by the way, for Antarcticite, it's a phenomenon known as being hygroscopic.
Huh?
Would you like me to explain the science?
Yes, please.
Alright, Lewis Science 101.
Yep.
So hygroscopy is pretty much the phenomenon where an object is able to attract water molecules either by suction or by specific forces. And in this case, it's pretty much more of it's more of a binding engine by absorption. So Antarcticite pretty much forms around a couple of minerals, like for example, let's see what it was. It's a calcium dichloride with six water molecules.
Huh.
So with the calcium and the chlorine serving as its base, it's pretty much able to absorb the hydrogen and form a crystalline structure. And with that, it pretty much changes both its viscosity and density based on the temperature right now. So there are many other like different forms of like of hygroscopy happening, but with Antarcticite, it's more based on temperature rather than pressure.
Oh, okay.
So another way of thinking about it is like you can change the pretty much like the physical state or its properties based on either temperature or pressure. Either one of those is pretty much going to change how material feels or what kind of state it gets.
Oh. Wow.
Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Or should I repeat?
So for Antarcticite to be in a solid form, it has to be sealed in a specific case meant for that process.
So so pretty much for Antarcticite, like they said in the anime, it has to be at a low enough temperature so it solidifies.
Yeah, which only happens every winter.
By the way, did you know that if you submit gases under immense pressure, there actually becomes something called a hot ice?
No, I didn't.
The more you know.
Dun, dun, dun. I hope I can find the sound clip for that.
I learned this from the Discovery Channel.
Yay! But moving on. So we're not here too long. Foss found it incredibly difficult to go to sleep because she felt so guilty about almost letting Amethyst and them die. So while Antarcticite is up and about and already checking in with Congo, which you find out Antarcticite, like everyone else here, is a big daddy's girl. With like...
Pat my head, Dad.
Yeah, give me a hug and pat my head. She is also incredibly precious. Which it sucks because Saragorn was made to kind of be the replacement Antarcticite, and fuck that hoe. Okay, I gotta stop thinking of Saragorn.
I thought it was Foss that replaces her, like in general.
No, so she ends up becoming like a person that... So Saragorn starts to become a person that Foss starts to project Antarcticite on. That's what I mean by replacing.
Oh.
Yeah, so anyway, sorry. So she ends up Foss ends up coming out and telling Sensei that she can't sleep. And Sensei is like, okay, well, it seems like for the first time this year you're gonna have a partner, so you team up with Foss, you teach her what your job is, and hopefully you guys will be able to look out for each other. But, you know, cute little Antarcticite is just kind of bummed out because she doesn't have Daddy Congo to herself. Which, fun fact, Lewis, if you look up an Antarcticite figure, it's her when she's all smashed up and being taken.
No, I've seen them plenty of times. It makes me sad.
I want to buy that figure, but then when I looked at the details, I'm like, this is the moment she was taken away. Screw that. Like they even put the detail that her head was like off her body too. I'm like, man, fuck you, Good Smile. Make a Ninjoid, damn it. But you end up finding out that
oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, you see it? I'll put it in the video, folks. If I remember, it should be on the screen right now. And she's even like holding a finger up to her face, telling Foss not to like...
Yes, oh my god, why?
It's so fucked up. I hate it. I want them to just make a Ninjoid or a Figma. Oh, Lewis is loving this.
I have to say that.
But what ends up happening? Well, what ends up happening is you find out that Antarcticite has a very specific job, and that is, basically when winter kicks in, these forms that look like Lunarians, that are basically just these giant ice glaciers in the form of Lunarians, start to grow, and when they start like breaking down, they make this very horrific and otherworldly scream, and these creatures are known as the ice flows. And like I stated in the manga, like I stated last week, I won't tell you what they are, but when you find out what they really are, it's a little disturbing.
I still don't know.
Come
I
on.
hear noises.
That's my dog freaking... That's me opening the door because my dog is, like, scratching on it. But... basically, in the anime, the ice flows are believed to be other types of gems who have not been fully formed, and all the inclusions can really do are just kind of scream. But they do have a habit of also talking to certain gems and trying to play off their flaws. Which, of course, Foss can hear them, and they almost immediately start playing off to the fact that, yeah, you may have some strong legs, but your arms and the rest of you is useless. If you want, you can stick your arms into this suspiciously tooth-like hole, and I could bite the arms off you, and then you can get better arms and protect Cinnabar. Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Can you guys... You guys are killing me! Blackie, stay. Hey.
We're building up your mental strength for when the dead air reaches you in real life.
I'm gonna freaking kick your butt. Anyway, so, Foss snaps out of it and realizes that she doesn't have to do that. But then at that moment, whether it was Foss's fault or somehow the ice flows are able to manipulate it somehow, she falls into a hole, nearly sinks in until Antarcticite goes and pulls her out. But at that moment, the arms are completely gone, and Antarcticite tries to swim down into the water to try to get them back. And if you guys remember, I said that in Bow Fury had a really cool underwater 3D sequence. Yeah, that didn't mean... That doesn't do shit compared to the 3D sequence in here, where it is almost practically a continuous shot of Antarcticite swimming in and trying to avoid the ice flows that are flat out trying to crush her head.
Right?
Yeah, it is freaking terrifying. But she goes back realizing that the hands are completely gone. And again, when you read the most recent chapter, you explain what that was all about. But they go back, take Foss back to Sensei, where he says, okay, well, we have to get her other arms. Take her back to the cove and see if you can find something that can suit her. But a lot of it, when they go over there, a lot of it was just pieces that were not thick enough to make into arms, and pieces that they believe wouldn't have been compatible. So the best they were able to do is they found gold, which was a mixture of gold and platinum, and they try to connect it onto Foss's arms as just kind of a placeholder until they can find something better. But the moment that happens, the Lunarians show up, and when she turns back to look at Foss, Foss is being completely enveloped by the alloy, almost turning her into a flower-like thing and then imprisoning her in a cube made out of gold and platinum.
I mean, who wouldn't love being trapped in a gold cube?
I mean, if I can spend it and get out, then sure. But if I'm stuck in a gold cube, then I'd rather not be stuck in a gold cube.
I mean, don't you want to see your precious gem get destroyed into pieces?
No, I don't. And it's funny, you're trying to play devil's advocate, but it almost sounds like you're about to break down crying too. So, Lewis, did you hear that? He's like, don't you want to hear your precious gem break down into pieces?
That killed me.
That still sucks.
It sucks because the Lunarians are showing up and they're taking pieces of her, and she's trying her best to like fight them off, while again losing pieces. She is like losing chunks and like bits of like outer shell from her, and she's able to kill the Lunarian that showed up, and she's trying to take Foss out of the cage, But the moment that happens, a rogue arrow shows up out of nowhere, hits her in the head, disconnecting her from her body, and then while Foss is freaking out, Antarcticide quickly holds their finger over her mouth, indicating to keep quiet so the Lunarians don't know you're in there. The Lunarians come, they collect Antarcticide, and at that moment, Foss is able to, in a really cool sequence, is able to control the alloy and, like, kill one Lunarian and then tries to go after and stop the ones that are running off with Antarcticite. And it really sucks because this is probably one of the few times you see Congo with, like, a look on his face that isn't anger, because he shows up completely worried that he didn't get there in time. And it's a really heartbreaking scene where Foss throws the sword, the Lunarians are still running off, and then without bringing attention to it, you just see these 3 little specks of light fly after them and also not being able to hit it. And you just see Foss fall into Congo's arms, and they both look utterly defeated and just devastated at what happened.
Why didn't he make it there in time?
He tried to! And his little gems that he uses to fight, like, they couldn't reach them in time either. But if there's...
Wait, does the manga explain, like, the gems that he uses as, like, an ability?
You want me to tell you what they are?
Are they actual gem pieces from the...
The flecks of his skin that he's peeling off himself and throwing at them.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same as if I would bite my fingernails off and flail them at Ben.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why every time you see him, like, throw one of the things, he'll do this quick arm movement with his arms, and then suddenly he'll be holding the little gem flakes. That's because he's flat out, like, scraping microscopic pieces of his body and flinging them at them. But it also kind of shows that he's going back and collecting them if he can, but it also looks like his body can regenerate, which is something that I will not tell you why he can do that. But yeah, there's a very, very big thing about Congo.
He's whole.
He is a human! Oh! No, he's not. But you basically end up finding out that,
Oh, I haven't gotten up to that part yet.
Yeah, so... I'm going back to the anime now. I don't want to reveal anything else. Yeah, so you end up, I think what ended up making this sequence really heartbreaking for me, not only because I loved Antarcticite too, but it's what it does to Foss at that moment. Since Foss at that moment not only lost her arms, but she lost chunks of herself while the alloy was wrapping itself around her body, they ended up having to cut her hair slightly shorter to kind of replace the missing bits. And in that process, it turned Foss from this happy-go-lucky, ignorant little girl into kind of this very deadpanned and serious young woman. And it was so devastating to see a character that cute just completely lose all sense of personality and just become kind of this cold, straight-laced type character who kind of forgot little details about Cinnabar, which was her whole thing for operating through the beginning of the series. And I'm gonna say this right now. This is not the last time we see that happen to her. We're gonna see it at least twice. And
is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I mean, if I were to show you a photo of Foss now, you wouldn't even recognize who it was.
Do it.
No, I don't want to.
Do it.
I don't know. Okay.
Do it.
Okay, fine. Go ahead, guys. Take over for me.
Jade. What
Oh.
is this?
So,
It's a pyroxene category. But anyways, after the disappearance, after the kidnapping of Antarcticide and everything, that's when you start to see how her outlook changes from in terms of how Boss carries herself now. Like Danny mentions, she goes through this transformation from being like this aloof gem, being someone who's more serious about what's going on around her. And one of the things that changes about her is like how she carries on when she goes on fighting the Lunarians.
yeah.
Because one thing that's funny about gold is that although it's very malleable and flexible, it's actually a very dense thing as well. So it's kind of heavy to utilize. So it makes her more robust when she's fighting them. So she's able to handle a sword now. And it also gives she can also do that thing that Cinnabar does with her Mercury. She's able to turn it into a weapon.
And also give like multiple forms for her gold arms as well.
Yeah. But she's limited to how much she can use. Like, if she's using a lot of alloy to block an enemy, she won't be able to use enough to grab a sword. Because it'll be too heavy for her to handle.
On the bright side, it did slow her down, so she's not as fast as she's used to.
That's true.
Where's her picture? We're waiting.
I know. Just keep going. I was looking online, but it's not popping up, so I'm on Kiss Manga right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's coming, so just hold down the fort.
And like again, one of the things that now Foss has been tasked with when she comes fighting the Lunarians is pretty much trying to distinguish the peculiar ones from the regular ones as well, so that they can see if they can recover Antarcticide as well.
That's also pretty gold. After she got about her original goal from the beginning to give Cinnabar different, now she's more focused on fighting Lunarian just to see and just to make sure like they don't carry any Antarcticide pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when winter ends and spring begins.
Oh yeah, and they switch the uniforms.
Only Foss stayed with their same uniform. Everyone else went with the spring uniform.
Yep. And then who was it that designed their uniforms?
Red Bell.
There you go.
Yeah.
Viva la vida!
Wait, what?
What?
Don't mind me. I'm just reading something.
Okay, sorry. It's taking longer than I thought.
But yeah, and then continuing afterwards, is this the part where Shiro appears, right?
Yeah. Where she teams up with Bort.
Why?
Do it, Ben. Not Ben. Do it, Lewis. You take over now for the rest of the episode.
Shiro!
Seeing Shiro. Wait, hearing the name Shiro reminds me of Fate. He did nothing wrong. He was an antagonist.
Oh, my scalp. I'm ripping my hairs off.
But yeah, like after winter end and spring has entered, everyone was pretty devastated by the news, hearing that Antarcticide has been taken away, and also shocked seeing how much Foss has changed during the hibernation in winter to how she is now.
Yeah.
Looking almost having the look that's similar to Antarcticide.
Yeah, like they almost completely mistake her for Antarcticide at one point.
Yeah, Ruta was the one that mistaken her for Antarcticide.
Yeah. Okay. How do I send photos here now? Here we go. Okay, it's coming, guys. Again, just keep holding it down. Remember, I'm on a computer, so it's a little longer.
What's a computer?
Yeah, with Foss explaining the scenario, what happened during their hibernation, you come to, you realize that all the other gems were were kind of were not on focus on Foss explanation, but rather surprised at what abilities came from her own arm. To the point where they all even want to either inspect, dissect, or just play around with her.
Yeah, that was actually really cute. Especially when she like goes to Congo for protection, and then he's like, "Okay, if you guys want to play with her, you guys gotta line up."
Oh yeah.
And that causes her to bail.
The sad part though was when Bort confronted her and said that now that you have that power, was it all that you really wanted?
Yeah.
And she answered that it wasn't what she wanted at all.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
She even has a talk with Benito, and she even realizes that she kind of misses her own little ignorant little self.
Yeah, even when Foss walks by the usual pond, she looks back and sees her old self.
Yeah. Oh my God, that.
It's like looking at your younger, naive self.
Yeah, that scene was so. Oh God, that scene still hurts me. So, I love. At the end of the series, they play this beautiful version of the opening that is completely orchestrated, done by an orchestra, and I love listening to that. But the official video that's on YouTube keeps playing that scene of Foss walking by her younger, more ignorant self, and it keeps hurting me every time I look at it. Keep going, guys. I know why Lewis stopped talking, because he knows he's getting closer to having to talk about Shiro.
I mean,
I don't want to talk about Shiro.
Ben, how about you go ahead and you take over? It's coming. I'm just trying to get it.
Let's see. Then Foss teams up with Bort. They went to a little exploration. Finds a peculiar, strange Lunarian. What comes out of it? A 6-armed Shiro, Lewis.
And finally, going back to the show with all my mustard minds, a lot of these
there you go.
What the fuck?
That's Foss. That is Foss in the most current chapter.
I'm harrowed.
I told you guys probably wouldn't have wanted to see it.
I don't know, but I'm getting trypophobia.
I know. That's not the actual form she has. The trypophobia form. I was trying to look for the one that she currently has, where the thing on the back of her neck is differently, but that is the only one that I could find that showed the mouth. The mouth is the key.
Oh no.
Yeah. See, it's basically just like chipped off missing bits of her mouth to look like monster teeth. It is freaking horrifying and even heartbreaking when I'm watching the anime and I'm like, oh, Foss was so cute when she started off.
The creator really hates Phosphorite.
Yeah, well, it has something to do with its overall theme. So, we're about to wrap it up right now. Let's go ahead and I'll take over the Shiro thing, since apparently no one wants to talk about it.
I forgot.
Well, I was just gonna say that like a lot of the things that you really recognize when you look at the Lunarians, especially, they really look like a lot of gods and goddesses from Buddhist legends.
Yeah, and flat out, Shiro is like the 6-armed god. I forgot his name.
I don't know. I'm not Buddhist. I don't know my Buddhist gods.
Is it Siddhartha? No, Siddhartha was a person, not a god. Shoot. I'll look it up.
That's the Buddha.
Yeah. I'll look it up later. But it's a combination of like the Monkey King with like with a god. That's
Sun Wukong or what?
yeah, Sun Wukong, because his head is very monkeyish, um, but it is like this six-armed creature that comes out of a portal. And mind you, a really weird way to deliver a Lunarian. Like, when the Lunarians show up, it is just an empty plate, and when they jump on the plate, that's when Shiro, like, pops out of this hole in the sky, and is, only comes out as an arm that Bort chops off. And then the rest of him shows up and starts, like, wreaking havoc at the school with, as Ben mentioned earlier, is they end up having to ring the bell 6 times, which Foss initially thought that was calling everyone there to help, but it was telling everyone to stay where they were and don't move. So they don't risk a lot of people having to, like, go in and get crushed or taken by whatever this thing was. And it is just running rampant. And mind you, at this point, this is where Diamond is having a really major attitude problem, where she is starting to feel, like, empty without Bort. So she's kind of wandering the halls by herself and then runs into Shiro, who then begins to chase her. And again, that is it's another really big a really big triumph of where anime has come with CG animation, because that whole scene where it's Shiro, Diamond hiding under a desk and Shiro walking above her and trying to find her, it is a incredibly tense and well animated scene. But Diamond ends up grabbing a uncompleted sword, tries to use it against him. Shiro grabs her, smashes her on the floor to the point where her eyes look like a cool 80s visor because her eyeballs are just gone. Her eye sockets are just crushed off. So Bort comes in and at that moment freaks out, slices Shiro down the middle, and that's when they have a talk where Diamond flat out says that she hates her. She hates the way she was treated by her, but she realizes that now that she is looking out to her from afar, that she feels really, she is realizing how much she really cared for her, and Bort felt the same way. So, what ends up happening, though, is no matter how many times you cut up Shiro, there's going to be, Shiro doesn't, like, evaporate like the other Lunarians. He ends up splitting down and making clones of himself. So now you have these 3-armed, weird dog-looking creatures fighting Bort. Bort slices them up, and then they become, I think, 6 or 4, and they end up breaking off, and Foss runs into one of them, and that is when we're introduced to a new gem called Alexandrite. Which
I wouldn't say it's a new gem. She just records what the types of the Lunarians, right?
Was she showed before this moment, though?
Oh well, where she goes to, where she changes herself, that's new.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, this is the first time we're seeing her. I think we saw her once before, but
What happened to you, boss?
he can't get over the photo. Dude, it's even crazier when you read it. When you read, like, what the whole point of all of this is leading up to.
Wait, are they still in their home or in space?
Foss isn't at the home, but everyone else is.
Oh, okay.
Foss is somewhere else, but we find out that Alexandrite, she doesn't love the Lunarians. She in fact hates them and will not forgive them for taking one of her friends away. But her whole job is that she chronicles everything about them. Every known piece that they know about the Lunarians, she is currently watching over, which is separate to the library, which is currently being run by a ghost courts. But she is given specific orders from Congo. You could look at Lunarian photos all you want, but you cannot look at an actual Lunarian. That is because, for some reason, that is explained later on, every time Alexandrite looks at a Lunarian, she turns into what is called red Alexandrite, which is this almost unstoppable berserker version of herself where her head turns red and she is like a killing machine. And it's cool to have that to fight the Lunarians, but the thing is, she can't really control it and not stop fighting because her mind is just completely out of it in that moment. So they end up chopping up the little animals, and they end up turning into these cute, floofy little puppy things that they are first very confused by, and then they end up they end up just running around the place, and they try to capture them all. When they capture them all, Shiro assembles himself and turns into his original form, but luckily for them, that is when Sensei wakes up from his nap and ends up recognizing it. And the reason we're calling it Shiro is because he looks at it in awe and says, "Is that you, Shiro?" And the only person who heard him say that was Foss, who was incredibly confused and starts to suspect that Congo might have some relation to the Lunarians. But what ends up happening is Foss ends up seeing Cinnabar, who brings her Bort's shoes and one of the other little moon puppies, which I think was Shiro's hand, right, Lewis?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So they go bring it back, and all of the gems are sleeping on Shiro, and the only one who's up at that moment is Congo, who is just what do you call it? He's just kind of has this different air to him, where he's way more relaxed and kind of comfortable where he is right now. And the moment he is given back his Shiro's given back his arm, he says he licks Congo, and Congo does something that just makes him evaporate. And at that last little moment, you see what looks like a tiny ghost version of a tongue lick Congo's hand and then just evaporates into nothing. So, where that was a sweet moment, it did kind of give Foss this whole, he's connected to the Lunarians somehow and he refuses to tell us, and now I have to look into this and figure out what's going on. So
So that sounds like a light novel title.
Right. But she ends up like going to Alexandrite and asking her what she knows about the Lunarians, and then she tries to catch a Lunarian and talk to it. And interesting thing, she starts strangling it, trying to get it to talk, and you see its eyes, which for the entirety of the series, all of the Lunarians except for Shiro haven't had irises. They've just been white. But the eyes roll back, you see their colored eyes, and it lets out a gasp. But at that moment, and just to make sure this is in the anime, it was Cinnabar that kills it, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Okay, because in the manga it's Amethyst, so I get them confused.
Really?
Yeah.
They changed that.
I'll explain it at the end of the series, because I want to explain some of the little details that were actually snuck in here. So, what ends up happening is Foss finally believes that she found a job for Cinnabar, but Cinnabar refuses, realizing, like, what about fun? You said the job was going to be fun. Spying on Sensei and seeing if he was connected to the Lunarians does not sound fun. So she ends up, and also another thing that doesn't necessarily happen in the manga, it's worded differently in the manga, but Cinnabar offers to team up, and at that moment, that's when the series ends. Leaving leaving out Ghost Quartz in that process and a few other little details, but still leaving the viewer with so many unanswered questions that only the manga and a season 2 can answer.
Season 2 will come out in 2021, guys.
No, it won't. That's probably when Beastars is gonna come out. Wait, is that a real thing, or are you just saying it?
I'm just saying it.
Oh, you bastard. But, yeah, that was Land of the Lustrous. So before we get into final thoughts, I would like to point out some little details. I will not go into the main specifics of these details, but these are moments that I realized rewatching in the anime that the manga had already explained. So if you remember the moment that Antarcticite and Phos were being attacked by the Lunarians, that a bunch of Lunarian women showed up in front of Congo, and when he evaporated all of them, they turned into this smoke-like substance that was trying to restrain him?
Oh, that wasn't in the manga.
That wasn't, right?
Yeah,
So
I did remember that. It wasn't in there.
So what's interesting is that the anime put in that detail where they wrap him around in a smoke, and they do something to his hands where they're making him put his hands in a praying position, and a light starts to shine in his palms. It's amazing that you remember, because I forgot. It's amazing that you remember that wasn't in the manga, because now that I have caught up to the manga and I know what Congo is, that was a very weird but interesting moment to just kind of slide into the anime like that. I will not say what he is, but
He's a god.
It definitely had something to do with him freaking out when that light was popping out of his hands. But he another thing is all of the them evaporating Shiro, Phos looking into Phos being taught by Alexandrite about the Lunarians, and then her trying to get the Lunarian to talk. The reason they cut that out is because the reason they made it Cinnabar instead of Amethyst is because that happens at the middle of the manga, and the talk with Cinnabar happens at the end. So without having to put in an additional scene to just kind of slow down the pacing, they made it that it was Cinnabar that saved her, so they can then have that talk and then end the series where they ended it. And now I imagine in season 1 they're gonna have to kind of make some details to kind of slide in Ghost Quartz more easily when they introduce that character, because she's already a pretty major character and was already partnered up with Phos by the point Cinnabar offers to be her partner. But yeah, that was Land of the Lustrous. And you guys want to mention anything else before we close it up?
This was a big sad.
It was. Down to the music and all that.
Oh, dude, the music is what made the music together with the animation and everything is what made this an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it really is. My favorite track in here was the Lunarian theme, because it's so bombastic and grand, but it's threatening at the same time. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
The soundtrack that every time the Lunarians show up?
Yeah, the boom 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 boom, like the chimes and the drum. Yeah, I love that. Anything else for this?
No, I'm good. I'm still processing the images I see before.
Nah. Yeah, this, if you guys can hear it. Oh no, it's not picking it up. No.
God, it sounds like nightmare fuel from this end.
It does. Anyway, Lewis, let's start you off first.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in post. Go ahead, Lewis.
Cricket.
Crickets. I wish it was all. I wish it was crickets that were Bunny D, but no. When I first watched this episode, when I first watched Land of Lustrous, this was back in college. Definitely fell in love with the show. Was not expecting to have the feels later on as well, and now looking at the images that Danny has put forth, I don't even know what to make of this anymore.
You gotta catch up to the manga. Yep.
I do. I'm pretty much at the part where she got her head replaced.
Oh yeah. Oh, careful. Ben doesn't know about that yet.
Her head replaced. What happened?
No, but not telling you. You gotta read that.
You gotta read it, Ben.
I'm barely where the anime finished.
Yeah, well, keep reading it. It's gonna happen. It's literally like a few chapters away.
But definitely one of the most beautiful shows you can see. I feel like when it comes to 3D animation, like being done right.
Yeah, crazy beautiful.
Crazy beautiful. Soundtrack was amazing as well. The characters were all lovable and everything. By the way, Paparacha's my favorite one.
Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about her. How she was a gem that was actually born with a birth defect.
Yep.
Yeah, she had. Oh, that wouldn't. Did that bother you, Ben?
What?
Paparacha's holes in her body?
There was only little holes, and I was fine with that.
Oh, okay.
But,
Well,
but yeah, like, does like anytime I forgot that doctor's name.
Rutiel.
Yeah, Rutiel. Does every time that Rutiel put a specific gemstone inside those holes, does it actually activate for a little while and then it just stops, or what?
If it has a specific hardness and is close to hers, yes, but
But even then, like it still works for a certain time.
yeah, the one she put, the one that Foss found her, that one worked because they were the closest, but she still fell asleep after a few hours.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so sorry, Lewis, keep going. Sorry.
Ben, you call those small holes?
No, Lewis, no.
What holes? All I see is red stuff.
Oh shit, that's when she spilled them. Oh, I love Paparacha's design the most.
Okay.
That hair, man. That magnificent hair.
Yeah, so keep going.
Oh yeah, back to that as well. Paparacha's best gem.
Okay. Anything else?
You mean
Is that it?
watermelon on the line is best gem.
In your dreams, best candy.
Yeah.
Looks like one of those freaking watermelon candies I find at the market.
It really does.
At least mine's isn't a defect.
Hey, guys, let's get on track here. Come on. We're all
But
friends.
yeah, I think that for me that would conclude my assessment of Moseki no Kuni. More feels than I expected. A lot of characters that I really liked, and it has Paparacha.
Okay. Ben, you go. Because this was my pick.
I don't want to.
Ben, please, I gotta leave.
Alright, so Hoseki no Kuni. Yeah, okay, so yeah. One of the rarest storyline that this type of story that I've ever read so far. It's pretty unique, which I kind of like. Not a lot of people follow this type of story, as far as I know. I don't think there's any similarity aside from some say a Steven Universe, but aside from that, like what I like about the Lunarians is when you see that distinct shadow figure. Every time I see that, I just think of them as the ink pots.
Yeah.
The Rorschach tests.
Yeah, those ones. Like you just like guess what you see from them.
Oh, oh, you said it right, Rorschach, Lewis?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that, and also I like the character progression specifically for Foss, because when I first when I first watched, like the more I got to know Foss, the more I kind of hate her personality, because she always like gets herself in danger, not just for her but for everyone else around her.
Yeah.
But then she learns from her mistake and she changes. Though for the worse, it may seem, but she does change, and I can't say much about her future changes, but I did kind of dig that.
Yes.
I'm already regretting what I just said. But yeah, and this is Land of the Lustrous. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this series. I really hope for the second season, if anything.
Yeah, me too. I really, again, really happy that we're gonna get more. We're gonna get a specific part in Beastars animated that I want to see animated, but I'd rather have Land of the Lustrous be fully animated too.
Part. Oh no! Stop furries, Danny.
What? I'm talking about when the security guard shows up. The school has a security guard people don't know about. They think it's a monster. I won't say what kind of animal it is, but it'll be really cool to see animated.
Wait. Are you caught up to the manga or no?
No, I'm like chapter 70 or 80, I think.
Alright, so even from that point, do they still have no idea who killed the student? Who murdered him?
I'm at the interesting thing. Speaking of skipping ahead, remember how the anime ended where it was Lugosi talking to the killer, but we don't know who the killer was?
Yeah.
So that was actually chapters and chapters and chapters ahead. So I am currently on the arc where Lugosi got beaten up by the person who killed him, but we don't know who it is. It was just the shadow that was beating up Lugosi.
Oh.
Yeah. And the school security guard is egging on Lugosi to find out who the killer is. But again, I don't want to say what the school security guard is, because it's really cool. But yeah, so I'll go on.
Panda?
No, oh god, that panda's a badass. We will be doing Beastars after Avatar month is over, and it's my turn. Probably. I might think of something else. But after Avatar month is done. Anyway, so...
I'm still sticking with Medaka Box.
Alright. We could have been doing that this week. That just sucks. But anyway, shit happens. No problem on anyone's. So, we have... Obviously, I've sung this anime's praises enough. I absolutely adore this anime. I have all the mangas that are currently being published. I caught up to the manga online, and I'm just really, really jonesing for a season 2, and will riot if a season 2 does not happen. But I'm
already rioting.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Well, LA is rioting for a different reason, but sure.
Season 2 comes out. It's produced by Studio D.
Oh, and it's not even... No, it's 2D animated, but it looks like those cheap, like, straight-to-DVD animated movies where the rendering is terrible, and the characters are all clipping. Mind you, though, a 2D Land of the Lustrous can work if you guys want. I'll post it in our text message later. There was a 2D animated trailer made for the manga. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, I remember seeing it.
Yeah. It looks like I'm glad it's 3D animated, but it looked beautiful when it was 2D too. Like, it looked just as good. So anyway, I love this anime. Foss is my favorite character, but also has one of my all-time most depressing character transformations because of just how drastically this character changed at the end of season 1 and how they continue to end. And then of course it's just character... You are just introduced to character after character of fantastic character development, and interesting at that. I really like the designs for the villains of the Lunarians, because they move in such like this creepy way, despite the fact that they are supposed to be just as humans as the gems are. Like, I'll never forget that in that scene in episode 1 where the Lunarians are just kind of like cradling the chopped up pieces of Morganite and Gauche, and just how like kind of unsettling that scene was of them smiling and rubbing their heads against the like severed limbs and stuff. I really got to give it up to the animation here, because I think of course the animation is gorgeous, and the characters' voices were being animated. The characters were voiced first, and then they were being animated around that voice. Did you guys know that?
What?
Instead of them animating it first and then putting in the voice acting later, the characters were being voiced first and then were being animated to the performance that the actresses were doing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's some good hard work there then.
Yeah, so Foss was 100% created around the actress that was given to her. I cannot sing the praises enough. I feel like if I keep going on any longer, I'm just going to spoil everything in the manga. So I will leave it here. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Ben, for doing this once again for me, with me every week. And this episode will probably be out, hopefully it will be out a week later than expected, because I'm getting a thumbnail made for it that I hope you guys really enjoy. I'm currently talking to Yana about working on it, and I have to send her the details today. So, anyway, guys, I'm Danny.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Same.
Yes. So, anyway, I'm Danny. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm ending it here.
I hate Rui.
And I'm Big Ben.
Hate you. Hate all of you guys. Alright, guys, bye.